we also have Manish Kumar as a panelist with us, so he may come in and give us some guidance as well.
Manish, you have joined in?
No, I can see him coming up as a panelist.
I think actually, I will just unmute him. Yeah, Manish. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Hello.
Hi, Manish. How are you?
Yeah, another good. Thanks.
Okay, so let me do a quick intro of me, and then others can also introduce themselves, Pooja and Manish as well. Maybe actually we start with Pooja and Manish, and then I do last. Go for it, Pooja.
Thanks, Nader. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Pooja Sharma. I'm taking care of business development head at Value Glide. So just welcome you all for this Value Glide webinar for Career Path with SAFE. I hope we'll be able to help you in the purpose for the reason we are in right now. And hope to serve you soon. So over to you, Nader.
Manish, do you want to have a just quickly introduce yourself, who you are? And how
yeah, hi everyone.
We can't see
yeah,
you.
but am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. So this Manish, I'm working as a business agility consultant, helping program and accounts to transform themselves to the safe ways of working. And this webinar we are conducting primarily to help you give an understanding about the different safe courses which are available from the Scaled Agile, and how you can opt one of these courses to advance your career and build an understanding about this framework. So welcome you all once again.
Thank you, Manish. Okay, I'm Nader. I'm also a business agility consultant. I work with Value Glide, and I help organizations with their transformation journey. So let me start the presentation. Then let's see whether you can see my.
Just to add, in case anybody has any question in between, please just feel free to put on the chat or the question box, and we'll take the questions in the end for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we'll try and make it as interactive as possible. So hopefully you can all see my screen. And what we're talking about here is my future safe with SAFE? And we're going to kick off with a quick poll where we will try and understand from people who are on the call right now, quite a few of you on the call right now, just to see what brings you here. That will help us to serve you better.
You will be getting all right now on your screen.
We're getting it, but I think I'm also seeing. Okay, we give it 5 seconds or so, and then we should have most of the responses. Okay. How are we doing, Pooja?
Yeah, it's 100% done, Nader. It's about to get the result for us.
Okay, if you could share the results, because I can't see anything at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, Nader, it says the topmost is why is SAFE important for me? That's 67%. And which SAFE course is right one for me is 33%.
Yeah. And okay, I'm just gonna just going to go back to the presentation, which Pooja, I think you need to make me presenter because I think you got the presentation back.
Okay. I just yeah.
No, coming back. It's coming back because I think you had to kill the poll. Okay, let's just see where we are. Okay, so we've seen the result of the poll. Thank you for that. So let's start quickly and say, what has changed? So these are a few brands that most of you will be familiar with, like Blockbusters, Woolworths, Toys R Us, huge brands that were very, very successful. They don't exist anymore. Now, this is not, in the past few years, what is happening is that a lot of established big organizations are not managing to thrive and survive in the digital economy. So what is it that they have in common? The common thread that we can see with all of these is all about business agility. And what we have seen is over the years that we have moved from product centric to product and services, customer centricity, and now it's all about business agility. Now, it doesn't mean that customer centricity is no longer there, but yes, of course, we need customer centricity, but unless we have our business agility, we will not have the ability to survive and thrive in the digital world that we live in. So business agility is a key advantage. So how can we gain that key advantage? So what we know is that Scaled Agile Framework is the world's leading framework in achieving business agility. And the reason it's so successful is because of the results that the organizations that have adopted SAFe are achieving. So these results are not results that Scaled Agile or any of the partners come and present. This is actually the results that have been achieved by the organizations, and the organizations themselves are sharing the results that they've had. So this is also further, if you like, validated by the survey that is carried out on an annual basis. Is the version 1 survey. Now it's changed name, CollabNet, and there's a new name, I think is Digital AI, although I'm not 100% sure of the new name of the company. But regardless, the surveys are the same. It's showing continual growth in adoption and organizations using SAFe in order to achieve business agility and scale. So you can see the other scaling frameworks that we may have heard in the market have minimal market share, whereas SAFe has got the larger market share. And again, we can see Scrum, if we add Scrums and the people who don't know what they're using or other methods, actually that's quite a big segment. But by the fact that they don't declare what it is, and whether Scrum can be actually seen as a scaling framework is something that I'll leave to you as people on this call to decide for yourselves. Needless to say that obviously I believe Scaled Agile Framework is the framework to be using. It has got all the right balance between guidance and proven practice, and keeps refining and growing based on what is happening in the market. So having established the need for business agility and established that SAFe is the right framework to be learning and investing the time to understand and help organizations with, I guess the next question is, which is the right course? Because there are many, many courses available in Scaled Agile Framework. Which one shall I go for that is aligned with my career aspirations and where I want to be? So we're going to spend a bit of time exploring that just now. So let's have a look and see what potentially may be a desired role. So when we put this together, we were thinking, okay, I might want to be somebody who cares deeply about the ways of working, and I want to grow my career in becoming better and better in helping organizations to improve the way they work. Or it might be that I care about the products and I want to more and more specialize in or improve my mastery in what are the right products, which one should we do, what is the customer need, what is the right product for the customers. Or I might want to increase my mastery in technical excellence and become really, really specialist in my technical ability. So when we looked at these things, we thought, okay, so effectively what we're looking at is either Scrum Mastery, Product Mastery, or Technical Mastery. Now we call it Scrum Mastery. It's not just about Scrum, but that's a term that most people understand and appreciate. So what are the courses that SAFE provides if that's the future path that I have in mind for me? So before we do that, just a quick poll to see which of these is the right one for you, or is you are more interested in. Okay, maybe 5 more seconds and we should close it.
I'll close it. Okay, that's done.
Okay, we have Scrum Mastery, and we have obviously the lead one is the strategy execution. We have a large number of attendees who care about the strategy execution, so we will look at that through the lean portfolio management lens, although all the other parts are also related, but lean portfolio management is mostly focused on that. So we got that, followed by Scrum Mastery as the second popular choice. And we have Product Mastery, Technical Mastery, and a little bit on the technical strategy, technical enablement, which is the SAFE for Architects course. Okay, so if you close that poll, I think I can go back to the slides.
I've done that now. Over to you.
Okay, good. You can see my screen now, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, thank you everyone for taking part and making this semi-interactive. So we will spend a little bit of time on the Scrum Mastery and all of these things. So what I will do is I will give you a high-level view of what we believe, or I believe, is the right path for you. Now, Scaled Agile Framework, and SAFE, who is the certifying body for these courses, does not require any prerequisite for any of these classes, most of these classes. But with experience, what we've found is that Leading SAFE is really a foundational course. And attendees who come to the other classes who have actually attended Leading SAFE take a lot more benefit out of the other courses. So recommendation for Scrum Mastery is that you do Leading SAFE, understand what SAFE is all about as a framework. And what Leading SAFE does, it does two things. A, you get a good overview, understanding of what the SAFE framework is, how it helps organizations, why leadership is a fundamental role in it, and why it is up to the leaders to learn and understand what lean and agile principles are and SAFE principles are, and what it means for them to behave in that way. And first they need to learn it, then they need to behave in that way, and through their behaviors and action, teach others to do the same thing. So that's the Leading SAFE. And SAFE for Scrum Master is for Scrum Masters, either new or existing Scrum Masters who are new to SAFE, and it's designed to orientate you towards what SAFE is about and what is the role of the Scrum Master in a SAFE environment. How do you go about facilitating the iteration events, which are the 2 weekly. If you're from a Scrum background, you call it a sprint, but in SAFe we call them iterations. So it's understanding what the events are, what is your role in them, how do you guide and coach the team in achieving the sprint goal and achieving the iteration goals, which is the PI objectives, and how and what is your role in preparing and managing the PI or program increment and getting ready for that. So SAFe Advanced Scrum Master is for experienced Scrum Masters who know Scrum and have been practicing it either in SAFe environment or non-SAFe environment, and they want to take the Scrum Master skills up to the next level. And this is where we understand some of the anti-patterns of Agile and Scrum, how to deal with them, and how to improve the value delivery and facilitation skills that we have. If we now go to the SAFe Product Owner, I know this was only 15% of the attendees are interested in it. I do this and then I go to Lean Portfolio Management and spend a bit of time on that as well. So SAFe Product Owner, Product Manager course is focused on the role of the product owner and product manager in as much as how do we understand what the features are and how do we break the features into stories and how do we guide the teams into delivering those through the iterations and before that into the program increment planning to make sure that they understand what the features are, how to break them down into stories, what is our role in the PI planning, why do we need to potentially change the scope when the teams come back and say, well, the scope that we had in mind is not achievable, therefore we need to adjust that, and the guidance that we provide to the teams during the planning and also the execution. So SAFe Agile Product Management is a 3-day course. The other courses so far, they were 2-day courses. SAFe Agile Product Management is a 3-day course where we focus mostly on understanding the customer need, finding out what are the possible solutions for that, finding out how big a market segment there is for that particular need. Should we be serving it? Is it in line with our competency? What should be our pricing strategy? How do we go to exchange, our value exchange model, and then go and build the product, and what does it take for us to build that product vision, the roadmap, any changes that we need to make in our value streams. I'm going to skip the technical mastery for now because most of you said you're not that interested in it, but very happy to go through it later. And what we have here for strategy execution is Lean Portfolio Management. So Lean Portfolio Management is the competency within SAFe which allows us to understand and align the strategy with the execution. A portfolio in SAFe is a collection of value streams that provide solutions to either external or internal customers. Now, small and medium organizations may only need one SAFe portfolio. Larger organizations will need many SAFe portfolios. The SAFe portfolio sits within one line of business. And SAFe for Architects, again, not many people were interested. So Lean Portfolio Management is a 3-day course. SAFe for Architects is a 3-day course. And that's where we build the strategy, if you like, we build the architecture or technical runways for the strategy to be executed on. So this is very high level about the courses, and then we'll dig a bit deeper. But before I go in, want to know whether there is any questions at this moment in time that we need to address. Maybe you can ask it on chat, or just we can open the lines. Well, looks like there isn't anything because I cannot see anything on chat.
Neither there are on questions.
There are questions?
Yeah, there are questions. I can just.
Okay.
Is any one certification in SAFe enough or multiple certifications needed? As of now, I am a Scrum Master, have a SSM and SA ASSM any more needed? That's the question.
So are they needed? Well, depends what your question is. Are they needed for what purpose? So if your purpose is to say, I understand SAFe and I understand what the role of Scrum Master in the SAFe environment is, then yes, you need to gain the SAFe Scrum Master certification. And
yeah, we have similar question from basically same person has asked multiple questions. We can see maybe we will be able to see what exactly he's want to do. It's like how to track our progress in the Scrum Master role. Should I become agile coach in future or parallelly increase our technical skills? How is market for Scrum Master? I'm interested in both technical and process.
yeah, so the market, what is the market for a particular skill set, as you know, changes all the time. What I can tell you, which I actually did a bit of research just before the webinar, and you can do it yourself as well. If you go and Google in the area that you are and just type in for Scaled Agile Framework jobs or SAFe jobs, what you'll see is that there is an upward trend in people asking for SAFe skills. And if you're interested in Scrum Master, you can see what the Scrum Master ones are. And if you're interested in other roles, you can see what the SAFe skills are. And you can also see there are two trend lines that you see. Both the demand and also the salary seems to be going upward as well. So it's not surprising when we saw the earlier graph where you saw 35% of the market share comes from Scaled Agile Framework. And also the business results that are achieved by organizations that have adopted SAFe. So it's not just because it's got the market share, but it's also organizations who adopt it, deliver business results. Therefore, why shouldn't you want it? Any other questions? I'm just trying to see. And yeah, whether you should go to Scrum Master or a technical role, really that is a decision that you need to make and see where do you see your future. I mean, both are valid reasons and valid futures to hold. Just up to you to decide which one is the one that you get out of bed in the morning to say, yes, I want to go there, and yes, I want to sort of learn how to develop software better or architect software, or is it that I want to help people to improve the way they work, the ways of working, and sort of facilitation? That's something you have to decide for yourself, I'm afraid. Okay, I think those are the only questions. Do we have? Are there more?
Yes, now that we have for Scrum Mastery career path, do we need to spend basically all the 3 certification we have to do, and have to spend that cost? Yeah.
You certainly do not need to spend all the 3 courses, but if you're looking for mastery, and as you know, mastery means that you have the technical knowledge, but you keep applying it until you gain mastery. So it's not just about going a 2-day course, and then it's about sort of practicing it, improving it, and learning more. So if you're after mastery, yes, you need to do them, but it's not about a question of I do 4 days of back-to-back or 6 days of back-to-back training. You do the training, you go practice, you come to the next one, practice, practice, next one. So you gain. So if you like, you got evidence for your mastery as well as the practice for mastery.
Thanks. So another one, where do we consider SAFe Part E certification in this category? That's the release train engineer.
Or where do we? Oh, release train engineer. Where does that sit? So
yeah,
release train engineer. Yeah.
Sorry.
So release train engineer, I would say it's still in Scrum Mastery, because that is about facilitation of the agile release train. So yes, I could have and should have added that to the Scrum Mastery as well.
Another is I have PSM1 certification. I'm into automation Selenium testing. What should be the next step with SAFe?
So if you are part of a SAFe agile release train and your skill is in testing and automation, then you will be part of the agile release train or development team. Actually, we call it the agile team now. So Scrum will call it development team, but in SAFe we call it the agile team. And then maybe SAFe for teams is the right training for you. There is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. If you want to go become a Scrum Master, you can then go SAFe Scrum Master. But if you are practicing, basically you're practicing automation testing, and that's where you want to carry on, then SAFe for Teams track is the right track for you. The specialist agile software engineering, SAFe for Teams, that would be the right one for you.
How SAFe Agilist works in software industry?
Sorry, how does SAFe Agilist work in software industry?
Industry. Yeah.
How does SAFe Agilist works in software industry? So I am not quite sure what that question means really, because SAFe Agilist are people who have completed leading SAFe and have that leading SAFe qualification, which means they are now leading or taking a leadership role in the agility transformation using Scaled Agile Framework. But if you want to explain that question a bit more, I can have a go at answering it, or Munish or Pooja, if you have anything to add to that, please do.
Maybe just if I add on what Nader you already mentioned, in an organization, I mean, these are the specific roles that we referred here, like a Scrum Master or maybe someone having interest in the product mastery. But then there are so many other leaders who need to provide the support for any program execution. We have department managers, line managers, functional heads. So those are some of the roles which needs to understand the SAFe ways of working as values and principles. SAFe Agilist course is a suitable for them, because when the people from their departments, their line structure work in the agile release trains, they can extend the required support.
Thank you, Munish.
Thank you, Manish.
Hope that helps. If you still have, if we still haven't answered your question, please ask.
And maybe just I mean, to complement what Nader mentioned about that automation part. Yeah, I mean, you being part of an agile team, SAFe for Teams is a certification, and then also the DevOps course is something that you can look forward to, because DevOps is primarily, apart from I mean, the operations and the development working together and breaking the silos, is all about the automation of the delivery pipelines, automation of the testing. So that is one thing which is gaining a lot of traction in the market with the movement to the 5G and the cloud native applications and the microservices based architecture. All of these needs extensive automation in the testing. So that is one certification which is quite popular amongst the people who have expertise in the testing.
Thank you.
Now that we have more questions, do you want to take them now or we want to take them later, as you
We
said?
might as well answer the questions, because we can go through other. We can go through the rest of the slides, but if the questions are what the people have in mind, we might as well serve the audience rather than serve what we prepared.
Sure.
So I can see. We take a couple more, maybe 3 more, and then we can do more slides.
Yeah. What is the route to become an agile coach and do webinars like this one? I think this is an incomplete question.
Okay. How can you become an agile coach? Well, experience, practice what you enjoy. It will become. So I can tell you my background has been sort of software development, project management, departmental manager, scrum master, consultant, agile coach, a trainer. So so although most organizations, and sometimes when you put it on a CV or a website, you want to sort of have distinction, but what happens is in normal work, typically I use all of those skills. So yes, I might be a coach, but sometimes somebody doesn't actually know what it is they're doing, and it's not about coaching, it's about training. And sometimes it's about actually consulting, showing them and doing it for them. So depending on the situation and the context and what's in front of you, you may have to adapt. But how do you become? Practice, experience, passion, learning, so you need to learn more, you need to do more, and then you need to help others. So you need to have that passion for helping others as well. And that will help. Again, I'm going to ask Manish if he wants to add anything to that, because
I think you
Manish,
covered another most of it. Hello, am I audible? Yeah, I think
yeah, you
you
are.
covered most part of it, Nader. I mean, the coach would really need to have see how their team is performing, and it is obviously an advantage if you have into that role yourself. So of course, going to this certification, playing these roles for some time, and then this will obviously add experience to you. When you move to the coach role, you would be able to relate to the problems which the teams are facing. What are the entry patterns where they are going wrong? And then of course, safe is one of the competence, but then coach for any field, like maybe with the sports or maybe the music, needs to have several other soft skills, and then no human skills. So that is an additional advantage, and an edge a coach has once he become expert in these skills also.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's
What
just
would
maybe,
be, yeah,
yeah, go on. This one and the next one, and then we move on. Go on.
okay. What would be more appropriate for a certified Safe Scrum Master as a next step? It's LPM or Safe for Architects?
I don't know. The reason I say I don't know, or I struggle with these questions, is because it's not about a number of badges or number of courses that you say, and I've got these starts. It really depends what you want to do and what you're passionate about. That would be my answer. But Manish, I don't know whether you want to add anything to it.
No, again, I mean, it's really no depends on what next step we are looking forward to. A Scrum Master is usually we associate a Scrum Master as being a servant leader or maybe a coach for an agile team. So if your obvious vertical moment in your career is to move from one single team to a couple of teams together, like from a project to the program management, then maybe you can look forward to having an advanced Scrum Master, or maybe learn the competence and the skills played by a release trained engineer. And then yeah, LPM is something if you want to advance your career into strategy formation at an organization level. So it really depends, where do you see yourself moving forward, contributing to the delivery part, or maybe the strategy part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Explanation.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take this one and then we'll do some more slides and we'll come back to more questions.
That's actually a that's a question which says I'm already SPC 50. Does this webinar helps me?
So does this webinar help you? I think you're the only one who can answer that
Yes.
question. So I don't think I can add any value to that or answer that question. But you probably already made a decision that is either worth your while or not. So we're gonna carry on, do a bit more slides, and then we'll take we'll go through some questions again. So let's explore lean portfolio management, if that's okay with everyone. Are you okay if I jump into LPM? Yes, I guess Pooja and Manish are happy for me to do that. So LPM was again one of the topics, or this is for aligning strategy with execution. There was a lot of demand, or the poll results were, yes, I'm interested in this. So as we mentioned, it's a safe portfolio is a collection of value streams that are aligned with a line of business. Okay, and they will deliver products or solutions, as we call them, in safe. So what's happened here? So lean portfolio management is a 3-day course, and it prepares you to play that role of, okay, how do we translate the strategy into what the LPM, the lean portfolio management function is, and how do we move from the traditional funding for projects, forming teams against projects, and then disbanding the teams as soon as the project is done, and then the annual budgeting cycle where, 6 months before the budgeting cycle, we get managers and senior leaders to try and prepare the budget for the next year and foresee what could be likely happening in 12 months time. So LPM, if you like, goes and explains why that is not a good way of doing it, and what is a better alternative, which is the lean portfolio management. And then we spend the lessons that we go through. There are 6 lessons. The first one is introducing why the lean portfolio management is a better way of managing the execution of the strategy, and and then the 3 parts of the LPM, which are how do we fund, if you like, how do we operate against those things, and what is the governance. So having decided on the strategy, having got our agile release train and value streams, so we go from funding projects into funding value streams, and then we also look at, okay, how do we adapt the funding for the value stream when the market or the demand changes, so they're dynamically funded, and we get rolling wave funding. And funding alone is not enough. We also want to know what are the guardrails. So we provide the governance to say, okay, now just because we funded a value stream, it doesn't mean that you can go and do whatever you like. There is governance, and the guardrails provide that governance to make sure that we still stick within the guardrails, and if there is any feedback or input that is required is gained and applied. And the portfolio operations is obviously making sure that we deliver against those things. Having understood what LPM is, what are the components of it are, then is a question of, okay, how do we go about implementing an LPM function in organizations that we work in? So that's lesson 5. And then the course finishes with why should you, the benefits of becoming a member of the SAFE community, why you should take the certification test and become a member of the community and gain access to privileged content that you don't normally have. So that's a very high level view. I mean, it's a 3-day course. I did it probably in about less than a minute. So there's a lot more that goes underneath this, but that gives you a flavor. Anything you want to add, Manish, to this?
No, I think we are good.
Yep. Okay, so, and again, if there are any questions, please ask them, and then we'll come back and sort of add more to it. So this was also another course that had, or another track that had little, if you like, interest in the poll that we did earlier. Safe for Architects. Again, this is about how do we align the strategy with the execution through the technical or architecture. What do we need to do as architects? This is also a 3-day course. And we go and say, okay, how do we get enterprise architecture, solution architecture, application architecture aligned, and how do we move from traditional architects sitting in ivory towers and planning things on PowerPoint, paperware, or enterprise architect as a tool or whatever that may or may not get implemented, to, okay, how do we play our role as an architect in a lean, agile way? And what we do, again, we define what is our role, how do we play that role within a safe or lean, agile architecture? What are the changes in the architecture that we need to do for it to enable for DevOps and release on demand? how do we architect for business value? In other words, do we just go out and build things or architect things, or how do we get the balance right between what is the business value and the architecture? How much architecture needs to go up front? What needs to evolve or emerge? And how do we get alignment across team of teams and the whole enterprise? Because we don't necessarily need or want architect different pieces, different solutions architected, same, if you like, the same problem architected in many different ways. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel. And then also by the same token, getting the balance right between not allowing for innovation, but not reinventing the wheel 10 times over. And then our role as architects, we also have a guiding role in coming up with a solution vision and solution intent and roadmaps, because having had the strategy, we also need to guide, okay, how feasible it is, how can it be done, and then we capture all of those things in a solution intent and then guide the product management into what the roadmap components should be, what are the enabler elements of it, and also from a timing perspective to give guidance on what is feasible or achievable. As architects, we have a key role to play for also preparing for PI planning, because one of the things that there might be architecture constraints that we need to let the teams know about during the PI planning. There might be new tools, architecture, that runways that have been built or are going to be built. Again, we need to communicate that with the teams. And then we go, this is the lesson 6, is about coordinating architecture throughout the PI planning, because teams will have questions. There might be questions that we need to answer. We need to make sure that all the teams are aware and coordinated on the architecture strategy and vision. So we do that. And then, of course, having done the plan, we still need to execute it, because planning without execution is not really worth it. So we need to guide the teams into delivering that and finishing it. And lesson 8 sort of changes a little bit, because now we are looking at, okay, strategic themes and value streams. So what does that mean? So strategic themes are what the strategy, the organization strategy, where we want to go. And implementing the strategic themes may need new architecture runways to be built. It may mean that we need new value streams, or it may mean new capabilities within the value streams that we already have. And it's just about, again, we have a role to play in there. We say, okay, how do we guide the organization into that, and what is the impact of that? Lesson 9 is about how do we play a leading role in the transformation as an architect, which basically includes a lot of the stuff that we talked about right now, and a bit more. So we go into there and we finish it by, again, why is it important for you to become an architect? Why is it important for you to take the exam, gain the qualification, and gain access to privileged content that you will only have as a member of the SAFE community and architecture only content. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, now I do my usual trick. Manish, is there anything you want to add while I take a sip of water? I guess not. So let's just see whether we got any more questions. I mean, we can go through all the other courses. I'm very happy to go through all the other courses. Let's just quickly see whether there are any burning questions that we need to answer.
Yeah, I'll go through them. I think there are 3-4 more questions which are there on the list. One is, since Agile deals with the continuous development and innovation, long-term goals are rarely set. There is considerable incoherence in long-term planning and SAFE. That's a question mark after that.
Sorry, I think it sounded more like a statement. Sorry, where is that one? I just need to see it.
Yeah, I think it's from bottom is the 5th question, if you can see in the list.
Okay, so it's
since Agile deals with continuous development and innovation, long-term goals are rarely set. There is considerable incoherence in long-term planning in SAFe.
Okay. So it sounds like a question and a statement to me, but I'll have a go. And also, I think for your Manish seems to be muted. Pooja, I don't know whether you can help him with that. So, Agile deals with continuous delivery. Yes, it does. And SAFe also has built in innovation and planning iteration, which is a 2-week iteration in every program increment. So every 5 to 10 weeks, we reserve 2 weeks specifically for innovation and planning. It doesn't mean that innovation only happens in those 2 weeks, but is specifically designed to stop the tyranny of urgent, to stop this. We will always be delivering, therefore there is no time to think and reflect and improve. So that's built in. Long-term goals are rarely set. There is a considerable incoherence in long-term planning in SAFe. So that I do not understand, because SAFe actually is the only framework where it acknowledges that in order to run your business, you need short-term goals, which is your iteration, your PI planning, which may be 5 to 10 weeks, and also you need multiple PIs and multiple year, depending on your context. So we have roadmaps and vision within SAFe, and they all serve different purpose, and they could be multi-months, multi-year, multi-quarter. So that part I don't understand, because you raised it as a quick question. So SAFe does acknowledge that there is a need to have plans and roadmaps for the future. The difference is that the plans aren't, as you go further out in time, they become less and less, the fidelity goes down, and then the if you like, the detail also is coarser rather than detail, everything is there. And also the other thing that it also acknowledges is that yes, you do the plan, but the market and the operational needs may change, and therefore you replan. So it's just because you planned it, your plan isn't stuck in stone. And you can see a great example of that is how Scaled Agile Inc. adapted to the changing COVID situation so rapidly by delivering online courses and enablement and reworking the syllabus, delivering new content just to enable that. That's just one tiny example. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, just a couple of more questions. And the one is, which tool is used mostly for tracking the SAFe project?
Which tool is used?
Yep.
Well, there are multiple vendors that provide tools that allow you to operate in a safe environment. So if that's what you're asking for, then it's probably best you look at safe platform partners. There are a few of them, and they all have different tools.
Maybe
what are the, yeah, go on. Manish, you're back.
maybe
Okay,
maybe if your question is specific to the application lifecycle management tools, no. So of course there are several like OpenALM, Rally, Jira. So these are some of the ALM tools which helps you structure your programs in a way which aligns with the SAFe framework. And then if you're talking about the technical tools which are primarily about the pipeline setups, maybe you have the GitLab, you have the Jenkins. So those are some of the technical tools which can be leveraged to structure your programs. And then maybe if you have some specific question about the tool, maybe we can take that one. Yeah, but in general, if you about the ALM tools, Jira, Rally, OpenALM, IBM Rationale, these are some of the popular tools.
Version 1 is also pretty good. Yeah. But anyway, we not. Yes. So I think Manish's answer question was pretty good. If you have any specific tool question, you can ask us and we can we can get back to you later.
I would say if anybody has to speak something, they can just raise their hands. You have an option, and I will definitely unmute you because I think there are some attendees where I have to unmute them to speak up. Yeah, so just raise your hands. I can see, and I'll unmute you for that. And just one more question, which is there another on the list is that's again saying SAFe adopts too much of top-down approach. The project goes in sequential order. That is, the project development team proceeds to the next stage of development only if the previous step is completed successfully, while most industries are attempting to move away from this model to more efficient ones.
Okay, so it's not a question, it's a statement and of your opinion. So you're entitled to your opinion. It's not one that I share, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what SAFe does. So let me have a go and you know, that's obviously an opinion. So let me have a go and explain what SAFe does. SAFe provides the guidance and alignment from the top, if you like, but it's not about a sequential delivery of something that somebody dreamt up and we carry on doing it. It's definitely not like that. It is iterative and incremental, and we inspect and adapt, and we learn as we go through. So if the iterations, so for example, the first and the quickest feedback is in the PI planning. So we spend a couple of days, and if what we've realized that actually this is not achievable or it's not the right thing to do, we course correct there and then. And the other thing that it does, it provides feedback within 2 days, even every day, but I mean, let's say 2 days at most, where we can see whether our intentions are achievable or not, and if they're not, we do something about it. And also through the execution again, if reality is different, we'll adjust. So we don't carry on just because we've done that. We don't actually have projects either. So within SAFe, there is no concept of projects. Manish, anything you want to add?
I think you covered Nader. I mean, like it was more like a statement, not a question. But yes, I think what SAFe does with the help of these program increments and iteration is to limit the work in progress. A study shows most of the projects so far they have been well on track as per their plans until they spent 80% of the budget, and it's only the last 20% of the budget and the timelines where the projects go off track, because also there have been a lot of work in progress without the real validation. So I guess that what SAFe does is doing a real accounting of what the progress is and then limiting that work in progress. So yeah, I echo your opinion, another. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Manisha. Just one more question just came in. Is SAFe successful for hybrid model? That's the last question.
SAFe successful for hybrid model. Maybe you can explain what hybrid model, do you mean like waterfall and agile, or agile as we call it, or what kind of hybrid you had in mind?
Dipesh, if you want to speak something, I've unmuted you. You want to say? I think Dipesh is the one. Yeah. I think nobody has raised hands, but Dipesh, if you want to just explain your question. Yeah.
Or type it if you're too shy. So let me answer this question the way I interpret it. If you mean that we have a waterfall or we have a traditional organization and we want to go SAFe, would SAFe work in that environment? The answer is yes, it does work in that environment. In actual fact, one of the implementation roadmap suggestions is that we do value stream identification and value stream and art identification, agile release train identification. So within the organization, we start with one agile release train Doesn't mean that the whole organization has switched to a new way of working. We deliver that, we learn from it, and then we launch more trains and we accelerate it. So that's, if that's what you have in mind, yes, it works. If you have in mind that you've got an agile release train where some teams are doing waterfall or traditional and some teams are doing agile, then no, it doesn't. Somebody raised their hand, I think.
Yeah, Vinay, you can speak up, I think, or it's like, please, Vinay, go ahead. Vinay, are you saying something? Because we can't hear you, but there's nothing like you're not mute as well.
Am I on mute? No, I don't think I'm on mute. Am I on mute? No, I can.
No, Nada, you're not mute, and Vinay is also not mute, but then.
No, I can't hear anything. So if you're saying something, please check your mic or just type. So looks like we're coming towards the end. Yes, Pooja, we only got a few more minutes left, I think.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
a few more.
So I think we've gone through all the key courses and key interests of the people who are on the webinar based on the poll that we carried on earlier. So what I wanted to just bring to your attention is that we do have a special discount for people on this webinar. If you're interested, just email us at hello@valueglide.com and we can provide a special discount for courses that you want to book if you're booking a number of classes. So that's that. Reach us, hello@valueglide.com. You can email us now and we'll be responding to it straight after the conference, or actually other people in the team will respond to you. And we just finish off with just saying, this is how, if you are interested in to know how do I book a course, you go to valueglide.com, and then when you click on valueglide.com, you see the menu over there, wherever it is. It doesn't matter where you land on valueglide.com. You just click on book your course, which is always on the top right, and then you can go and choose your course in 4 easy steps, which is select the course that you want. So we had a lot of people wanting LPM, maybe not the best course, but to choose the LPM, and then we say, okay, where do we want it? All right, it doesn't matter, I don't care where it is. Or you can select your location. You can say, okay, I'm interested in India, and you say, okay, what are the courses that are available in India for LPM? Say, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I want it. Thank you very much. I'm going to book it. So off you go and you book it. You say, yes, I want that. And as it so happens, there is 3 of us. So there you go. And I book it. There you go. So it's as simple as that. So if you're interested in booking any classes, you can go straight to the website and click over there. If you want to take advantage of the discount that we have for the attendees of this webinar, just email us on hello@valueglide.com and we will be in touch. So the final thing to say is you're in pretty safe hands if you engage ValueGlide for training or consulting. We've been delivering consulting and training for a while, and every one of our customers has been successful in their transformation, and they've delivered business results using SAFe or other methods, but we are specialists in SAFe. So what we do, we enable organizations to deliver faster through elimination of waste and managing queues, which is what Munish was saying, by controlling the amount of work in progress. We also have additional safe services that you can take advantage of, and we can deliver those to your organization. And that's designing the agile release train, preparation for the PI planning facilitation, execution. So there's a lot of, as you can see, there are a lot of services that are focused on PI planning, because that's a key event in SAFe. And for us to be successful in a PI planning, you need to prepare for it, you need to plan it right, and then you need to actually execute and coach the teams in delivery of it. Inspection of that workshop is a key event. At the end of every PI, we look at what are the core things. Well, we do a couple of things. We measure what we delivered and how we delivered it. And then we also look at what are the things that are slowing us, choose one or two, and then we do root cause analysis on that, and then we decide we put that into our backlog of work, and we get on with it in the next PI to actually go and address the root cause. And of course, we can help you with PI, with agility assessments. The results speak for themselves. So you can see a very recent result, a team of 50 people, 6 months, and they managed to halve their costs, and delivery speed went up by 62%. Okay. That's us. This is our contact information. If you need any help, please feel free to reach us at any of these. And if there are any last minute questions, maybe we can address it or anything.
Yes, we have 3 more questions just came in. Because
Okay.
people are struggling to unmute, but they're not able to do that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, there are like, does any of the SAFe courses take a deep dive into handling third-party vendors or suppliers? If yes, then which one?
Third-party suppliers. No, I don't think we go and talk to any depth about how do you deal with third-party suppliers. On the Scaled Agile website, you can see there is an article about agile contracting, and that might help you with that. But no, there isn't any deep dive into how you deal with third-party contracts. None that I'm aware of. Manish, is there anything you know?
Yeah, that is correct, Nader. I mean, it's not directly, but maybe in the advanced courses, like you mentioned, maybe the agile product management or maybe the lean portfolio management, they talk about, I mean, how to know coordinate with the suppliers for the solutions which cannot be built entirely by one organization. So there are some inferences and then some recommendations, but not deeply into, I mean, for a small piece of delivery, how the suppliers can be contracted and how the budgets or maybe how the pricing model can be set up. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions you have?
Yeah, what careers or examples are usually the path for lean portfolio ops?
What are the careers and for the lean portfolio operations?
Yep.
Well, lean portfolio team members, think of this as this. They are the senior executives and management, business management and architecture, if you like, technical, business and finance leaders of the organization that sit in LPM function, the lean portfolio management function. So which career path is, if you are interested in a finance side, it will be like a CFO kind of thing. If you're technical, it would be an enterprise architect kind of thing. Business line, it would be your, head of business line, division, that kind of thing. So it would be those. Hopefully that answered that question. Manish, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think Nader, you covered.
All right. Okay.
This last question, is there any strategy or approach to conduct a meeting to share knowledge cross-functional with different agile team in SAFe?
Is there any strategy in sharing knowledge across different teams in SAFe?
Yeah, to conduct a meeting to share knowledge cross-functional with different teams in SAFe. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe if I answer.
Yeah, go for it, please, Manish.
Yeah, if I answer, I mean, again, this is just one or two recommendations, as since you're asking the question about the SAFE. In innovation and planning, there are a placeholder for hackathons and the quizzes, and then some knowledge sharing sessions. There's a specific opportunity which can be utilized to share the knowledge with a larger audience, and then also build the competence. uh, and then otherwise, yeah, I mean, the regular meetings can always happen, but yeah, innovation and planning, there are placeholders for hackathons and the quizzes, knowledge sharing sessions.
So yes, so I mean, thank you, Manish. That's it. I mean, and the only thing I add is SAFE is no different. You know, how do you share knowledge with a group of people is nothing to do with SAFE. You need to do that. As far as having meetings and events are concerned, 2 or 3 things I've found that are very useful. Make sure that every meeting has got a purpose, so you know what it is that you're going for the meeting for. Make sure you have a clear decision rule. So just because you're having a meeting, it may be a meeting where it is a shared decision making. So yeah, everybody can come and put their view in, but the chair will make a decision. So that's a different kind of meeting. So know about that. Or it might be majority rule. So you vote and then the majority goes. Or it might be a consultative chair. So everybody can consult. Again, the chair can decide, or a single person decide. So understand what the purpose of it is, understand what the decision rules are, and before you finish the meeting, make sure you go through what agreements you've made, because a lot of the time dissatisfaction arises from after the meeting because somebody thinks this was a discussion and another person thinks it's an agreement. So if you go and get these 3 things right, that will probably help you in any meeting that you have, whether it's SAFE or others. Okay. Any more, Pooja? I think any more last minute questions, or is that it? I think this is it.
Yeah, this is it, Nader.
Well, all that remains from all of us to thank you for your time or spending it with us, and also hoping that you got value out of this. If there is anything you want us to explain further, please email us either on questions, or feel free to send us an email at hello@valueglide.com with your question, and we will follow up and answer it.
And do follow us on LinkedIn so that we can communicate you for the next webinar.
Absolutely. Follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you all. Stay safe. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.